Welcome to Versus. This is episode 12. We are almost done with the Tooth Fairy franchise. My name is John Maher. I'm a very tired individual. This is Will Cohen. Will, how are you?
I am also a very tired individual, not just because of running around. Apparently, I did over 18,000 steps today, but also seeing the finish line has never felt more arduous than with these films. I swear to Jesus, like I don't understand how it could go so wrong so quick.
It was already going wrong. I don't know if you realize this fact, but the same person directed all five of these movies.
Oh
Normally, in
no,
these
yeah.
bounced all over the place. But Louisa Warren, who should be on the FBI's most wanted list and Interpol should be actively trying to kill her, did all of these movies. And when it came to do movie 4, she decided, hey, I have this illustrious franchise of a demon tooth fairy. Let's reboot it. Let's make the tooth fairy a weirdly deformed mental asylum escapee serial killer. And we get Tooth Fairy, Queen of Pain.
Hello?
I'm sorry I alarmed you before.
What do you want?
And what was in her hand? Yes, that's right.
And I have been very patient, but you need to go away. Just go away.
Excuse me? Why are you standing outside my house? This is private property.
Just fuck. Just Jesus Christ. Like right up front. And this is a lot of these Champ Dog, Dark Abyss, Jagged Edge, Uncorked movies. Like you see the Tooth Fairy. That is what the Tooth Fairy looks like. It is a deformed mask, like woman dressed as like Heidi. Roundhouse kick that fucking thing. I begging one person to kick her right in the fucking chest. That would have ended this movie. God damn it. Like I never rooted so hard for characters that suck so bad because like this is not a killer that should be killing like all these people. It just should not that should not be happening.
This is the equivalent of someone walking into a room of 30 people with a butter knife and stabbing 10 of them when after the first time someone should have just tackled the asshole. I don't understand how any of these things are working. At least now, to its credit, after the third one, at least we have kills that make logical sense. That being said, as you put it, like, how is this maybe 120-pound person when wet person, just taking out people like much bigger than her, much more muscular than her? Is it element of surprise? Is it like cheap kills? I don't know. I don't think they care. I I guess seriously think that like Louisa Warren just like sat there just doing like bumps of coke and just eventually like going, "Oh, they're still acting. You better cut."
Yeah. Like I don't like these people were directed to do these death scenes in this fashion. Like it's absolutely crazy. Like, okay, movie starts out. We actually get Diane from the last movie. Corey's girlfriend, question mark, is alive. Now she has how again, the girl's losing her teeth. Let's say 8, 9-year-old daughter. So now
Sure.
we're 10 more years into the future because she had to have been pregnant and given birth to this girl, unless she adopted her. But let's see. The girl calls her mom. There doesn't seem to be anything weird. They don't make any descriptions. So now we're 10 more years in the future. Diane looks it. So we are over 50 years from the original Tooth Fairy. Technology is exactly the same. This is the fucking darkest timeline still. Still in the darkest timeline.
And you know, it's the same setup as some of these other films. You know, a kid is just fucking with their, the loose tooth. Mom's saying, "No, don't do that."
Hey, leave it alone. It'll come out when it's ready.
You said the Tooth Fairy will come if I get it out.
So what does she do? The only logical thing to do: grab an apple.
Yep.
Just take a big old chomp of that.
And 10
And-
times the amount of blood that would normally come from a loose tooth.
Like how she didn't get lightheaded, no one can explain. And then here comes like half melted Mother Goose, I mean the Tooth Fairy, and this mask has easily the derpiest expression of all time. Like
it's like what Alec Baldwin turns himself into in Beetlejuice to scare people when they can't see him. That is what this mask looks like.
except that was actually scary.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Like there is an attempt. Okay, I'll give a small positive. There is an attempt to give like backstory because the radio's always on and you always hear like, "Hey, a van crashed and these mental patients escaped."
Breaking news. Reports are coming in from the Kendall area that a recent traffic accident on the A6 resulted in several of the patients escaping from a nearby mental facility. The patients are said to have been staying in a high secure unit.
Mental patients. So the Tooth Fairy comes. There's a really weird exchange where like Diane can see her, right? And the Tooth Fairy can see Diane. And when you see the Tooth Fairy, how you would not react crazily to someone that looks like that. Everyone looks at her. Everyone that sees her does not react. And this is in the next movie too. Like when they see her, they don't react to the fact that she is really deformed looking. It's like there's no eyes and a giant jagged mouth. And that's how this person looks. It's not a mask. It's how this person looks. And no one reacts to it. They treat them like a normal person every time they see them. So that's really progressive or really stupid, whatever.
I mean, I was just thinking, like, okay, maybe this is like the one argument against progressive views, but at the same time, that's clearly giving this movie a lot more credit than it deserves at this point. But you're right. Like, this is like Diane at this point just isn't a regular person. She is a mother, a single mother. We can only assume because there's no dude around, but single mother, dead of night. And she's not panicking that this woman is like knocking on the door, asking to see her child.
Yeah, won't go away. And then, well, then she gets in the house and she tells the daughter to call the police, right? And here's where things get weird. The house is secure. The front door is definitely locked because the tooth
Right.
fairy can't get in the door. She has to be let in. Yet the second Diane turns around, the tooth fairy's in the house.
I'm going to bed now. Okay?
And like behind her. So like weird. But
Yeah.
whatever. So we'll just assume that a side door was left unlocked. So the girl's upstairs. Girl calls the police. Diane gets killed. Or at least very badly injured. And then the police come. Okay, remember I said, right? Then title card, right? So we have a van of mental patients crashes. Mental patients escape. There's a murder in this house. Like a woman is murdered. A child is orphaned. The police are there. Within the same span of time where that news story is still on the radio, this group of teachers rents that house. How in the blue fuck does that happen? Like, it's an active fucking crime scene. Like,
there's no explanation of like how long time has passed. Like, for all we know, John, so much time has passed that little girl is now Hopalong Jane.
yeah, but that's definitely not her because it's the same news story on the radio. When they go to the bar, the same news story that played when Diane was killed is still being played on the radio.
An important news bulletin. A police warning has been issued to residents in the Kendall area to take caution after a recent report revealed that several patients from the Saffron Square Hospital for Mental Health have been missing.
So it's they're clearly that house went from a house that was owned by a woman with her daughter living in it, and all of her shit is still in the house. Like,
that's true.
They just turned it over. Like, there wasn't an estate sale. Someone just assumed that house and rented it out to these teachers, who we learn are like, first of all, they're teachers at a special needs school. None of the kids are special needs, and like if this is a special need, like those poor kids who are not special needs kids, who are acting as special needs kids. We're not directed because Louisa Warren does not know how to direct. No. They were not directed to act like they had special needs. They're just regularly abled kids.
Jenny, Joanna, no dawdling, please.
Right, guys, we've got a lot to get through. So you are going to be following myself and Mr. Tillman, and we are going to be going to the historic forest where the settlers first arrived.
Who are labeled as disabled, but are not disabled. Really weird choice. They could have just been kids, and you could have saved yourself that faux pas.
But at this point, they might as well just call themselves Faux Pas Productions, because at least we would set the bar even lower. Like, we would have to dig a trench to put the bar at that point.
That's such a weird field trip too, right? So it's 4 teachers, right? 4? No, 5.
Yeah, there's 4.
There's 5 teachers. There's
5,
3 women and 2 men. One of them is Marcus Massey, at least. Thank God. Thank goodness for that. One of them is an actor I appreciate. But there's 5 of them, and there's 4 kids. So the ratio of teacher to kids is higher than 1-to-1. The expense on the school must be immense to send that many people out. And I have no idea what they're doing, because the very first thing they do is like they go for like a trail, they go for like a hike at night.
Okay, guys, follow Mr. Tillman.
Like, come on, kids. And one of the kids is like 6.
Yeah. And even after the hike, like they just like there's a huge discussion about, okay, you know what? We're all gonna go find a bar and get wasted. But someone has to be here.
Good thing one of the teachers is half crippled from a badminton accident. I was listening. She injured her ankle playing badminton, and now she's on braces.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently badminton goes harder than I imagined.
So, what actually happened? I heard that you knackered your ankle playing something?
Yeah. Badminton.
I mean, sure. I don't know if you watched the Olympic badminton. Those Indonesians take it very seriously.
I mean, clearly she was playing the same badminton game that was going on in the animated version of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
But so yeah, remote cabin in the woods. Yeah, let's have the skinniest teacher who is currently injured watch the kids.
Well, to their defense, they did not know that the Tooth Fairy was going to come. I will say,
if they listened to the news reports, they would have.
True, if they were listening. Did not laugh, but I did smile at the attempt at a joke because the name of the pub they go to is the Black Cock.
There was the Black Cock that we passed on the way here. That looked quite good from the outside.
And they say that a few times. So, the child laughed, but it never escaped me. And apparently that's the name of the place because there's a sign out front. And we all know that these movies can't afford to make fake signs. That is probably the name of an actual pub out there. That I guess I'll have to go find someday.
I mean, after traveling to London about 7 years ago, I can tell you that some of the names of pubs get very interesting out there. So I guess that's the reason why I just didn't even chuckle at Black Cock, which is rare for me. But of course, this movie.
We know you usually laugh whenever Black Cock comes around.
I mean, as you have to. Whoever's watching this is probably like chugging a drink every single time we say a Black Cock, and we need to make them drunk before the end of this video. Then,
well, unfortunately, that's the last time that it comes up in the movie. Though a lot of time is spent in the pub where they're just like it is like a human resources nightmare in that pub. Like the Marcus Massey's acting very creepy towards the other girl who played the South African girl in Dinosaur Hotel 2.
Come on, Kim. We're meant to be having a laugh here. I know we're technically meant to be at work, but we've got to make the best of it.
Though she doesn't want to drink, but then they just keep forcing drinks down her. The other girl, the one that has the accent, is just forcing drinks down her throat.
Ooh, Kim just finished her first one. Ooh.
Hey, you don't even seem tipsy, Kim.
I'm not.
I forgot to tell you, she's a heavyweight.
The other guy's getting handsy with the blonde.
Okay, so from that class, we have Bradley, Jamie, and...
So, these are your favorite students?
Like, yeah, your human resources department is going to have a nightmare on Monday, especially with what happens next.
Yeah, like doesn't like if memory serves, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like one of them, I believe, I guess one of Marcus Massey's character actually forces himself on one of the girls.
Yeah, he's like grabbing her leg. He tried. Oh, when they go back to the house, I think he tries to kiss her.
Look, I've been wanting to say this,
Okay,
but
who's that?
Oh,
There.
what?
No, who's that there?
And it's the girl, like, Kim Quayle. And it's just like, it's real weird. It's real cringy. I guess it's just that it had to be done. It leads to nothing because, like we already alluded to, whenever a character is within a radius of the Tooth Fairy, they become unable to run, defend themselves, get their hands up to block a weapon. They can't do a singular fucking thing because Marcus Massey's character, what's his name? Jeff, he's the designated driver. So the one after he gets handsy with the girl, she demands to be taken back. They go back together. The Tooth Fairy is now standing in front of the house again. Jeff gets out of the car and like tries to talk to her like 1,000 times. Who are you? This is private property. What are you doing here? Can't you hear me talking to you? Getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to her. To when he's like tapping her on the shoulder basically, and she just hammers him in the face.
Miss, look at me if I'm speaking to you.
Jeff!
Which brings me to my next point of contention with at least this movie. They kind of correct it in the next one. But like, I understand getting hit in the mouth with a hammer would probably really, really hurt. No one's saying it wouldn't hurt. But it would not kill me. It would not kill me.
I mean, to be fair, that didn't kill him initially. Like
Right.
it only knocked some teeth out, but it definitely like winded him. But here's where things get really stupid. Because remember, the girl he just got handsy with is still not only in the car is running. So you just see someone get taken out. But apparently I'm out of sorts. Because if that was me, my illogical brain would say, hop in the driver's seat and get the hell out of there.
Right.
But apparently the rational thought is sit there and see what happens. Which apparently what happens is Tooth Fairy, with hammer in hand, saunters very gently over there until she decides, oh, well, I have car doors on every side. I'll just go to the opposite one that she's on. Where then she is proceeded to, and I don't know how. This is the most perplexing kill of the entire movie, because I don't understand how they even let it happen. They take the claw part of the hammer and jam it into her mouth, and essentially like it. What I can only imagine is the soft tissue of her brain just like wiggly. And yeah.
It's as bad as it sounds. Clip here. So then, like, now we're going downhill. So the other two are still at the bar. Our main character, I think her name's Sammy, right? She's still in the house, freaking out.
Yeah.
Freaking out. Like the kids are in there. She's with the kids. She's freaking out. The other two people come home. Was that Neil and Ellen come home? They're drunk off their ass. But again, somehow the Tooth Fairy has made it into the house again. Like, Tooth Fairy shadow cats through the wall or some shit. We never see how the hell the Tooth Fairy gets into the house. We never know how she gets into the house. She just gets into the house. And then these two were just like ambushed and taken out. And mind you, Neil is like in shape. He's in shape. There's even a scene where you see his ass when he's getting out of the bathtub all covered in suds. He's a very attractive man. He's very in shape.
Sorry. Promise I won't look.
Hello?
Hi. Sorry, I thought Ellen wasn't here.
What does the Tooth Fairy use to take out Neil? A plastic bag. And I don't understand how in every movie why you don't just poke a hole in the plastic bag. His hands are free, and he's twice the size of the Tooth Fairy. It's total bullshit. But
like, yeah, how is he not like grabbing the arms and snapping them?
Yeah.
Like,
but these,
again,
these last characters, Sam, Sam, Neil, and Ellen, are continuously, like, routinely, cyclically attacked by the Tooth Fairy and not killed. It's like, knock you out. It's like whack-a-mole. Like, she knocks them all out in, like, rapid succession and just moves them around the house. Like, I get knocked out, I wake up at the kitchen table. I get knocked out. I wake up in the bathroom. Like, it's so the amount of people left for alive in this movie is off the charts.
It starts feeling like the Maniac Mansion from hell at this point. It feels ridiculous. Like, knockout. Oh, now I'm in the basement, but it's not a murder basement. Oh, I can just go up and I'm not tied down. Oh, I'm knocked out. Oh, but this time I am tied down. Oh, I can get out. Like, if you can get out.
So weird. It's so, like, haphazard and weird.
Like,
but eventually in this cycle of violence, like, she bludgeons Ellen, I guess. Neil passes out and dies from blood loss, I guess, but he falls against the door and
No, Neil?
Honey.
then Sam's left alone in the basement, and then the Tooth Fairy attacks her, and the movie just ends.
Don't worry. They're safe outside. For now.
Yeah.
Oh, meanwhile, the kids are missing. Like, it's an insult to, like, everything that has to do with filmmaking. Like, the script is horrible and incomplete. The directing is non-existent. The acting is, we love you, Marcus Massey, but everything else is shit. I'm at a loss.
Yeah, like there are some genuinely creepy moments in this. Okay, let me take that back. There is one genuinely creepy moment. And I thought that maybe at that point they would have turned things around. It's when all three of the kids are now awake. Like, originally there was like one that was just awake,
the older girl
house.
Was like, floating around.
But now all three kids are awake at the window, listening to the Tooth Fairy read to them.
The Tooth Fairy. Who are you? The girl asked.
Stay away from here! I'm calling the police!
And she just has a children's book. She just has a full-ass children's book on her.
And she's talking and she's giving them the history of the Tooth Fairy, basically.
Yeah.
This scene is skin-crawlingly weird. So I can understand, like, how this fits in the oeuvre of horror.
Yeah, so they're capable of achieving that tone. They just can't sustain it forwards or backwards from that scene.
No, this scene, like, maybe lasts, like, 2 minutes. Which, should mean something. It just doesn't. It just leads to nothing, unfortunately. But, again, I wish we had more to talk about.
Yeah,
but there's no finality to this, and I understand that they probably were planning this because I believe that these two, I believe this and the one that we'll be talking about next week, both came out in the same year.
Oh yeah, clearly. Like these movies had to have been wrapped in like 48 hours, 72 hours. Like, because there were not multiple takes done at any of these scenes. For example, like when the kids are acting scared, like they're not as bad as like the kid actors from Dinosaur Hotel, but they're in the same realm of like, we can't act at all. So whatever. I'm also insulted that like there's like we just got through 3 movies where people are basically knowledgeably defending themselves against a demon from hell. But in this movie, a 5'4", 120-pound deformed person lays waste to people like it's this fucking Sherman tank. It's absolutely crazy.
So I think the thing that I find most insulting is this. So they are very knowledgeable that all these mental patients have escaped. First of all, they would never allow the mental patient to have that mask. But it's clear
I think it's her face. That's her face, isn't it?
I don't know if that's what they were going for, honestly. But again, if it is her face, they didn't say anything.
No one reacts to her face. No one reacts to her mask or her face. It's as if she's not wearing or looks like anything.
Right. But even so,
she looks like us.
But even so, if that's not a mask, that means that they know who that person. Like the authorities know who that person is, because obviously that mugshot is very simple to point in a lineup, so they know exactly who this person is. We never hear a name on the we never hear a name on the news report. We just say, oh well, this is the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. If you know who this person is, why aren't cops looking for them?
Right. There's never a police presence ever in the movie. Just in the very beginning. And they never go back to that murder house.
No.
Regardless, Will, take us through this week's drink.
So I tried to have a little bit of fun with this week's drink, and thank you for our good friends over at Update Magic for this one. I tried to find, because it's called Queen of Evil, I tried to find something Evil Queen themed that wasn't an Appletini, and I found one. So your ingredients for this, as you can see here, it's called the Evil Queen Midori Sour cocktail. This contains 45 milliliters of Midori, 60 milliliters of sweet and sour mix. In parentheses, it says Old Hag's Craggle. I don't know what the hell that is.
Sour mix, everybody.
The Scream of Fright, also known as 45 milliliters of Sprite. Some mummy dust, sprinkling some brown sugar. And then a dash of lime juice with an optional mix of black food coloring.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And when in the movie do you think people should be drinking this, Will? Give them your drinking games.
So, anytime someone very clearly could have escaped the clutches of death, take a drink. Anytime someone says the phrase Tooth Fairy, take a drink. Every single time the Tooth Fairy says, I've come to collect, take a drink.
Anytime you can't understand what the Tooth Fairy is saying without subtitles, take a drink.
Take a small sip every single time you hear a light tap.
Yeah. And that should be enough for you to finish the drink. But hey, if you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. We got one more of these to go. We're almost done. Find us on Facebook, Why We Love Horror. TikTok is at WWL Horror. This is at WWL Horror. Subscribe here. Mondays we do this. Wednesdays it's special editions of our shows. Thursdays it's Why We Love Horror, where we talk about new releases, and then we go live. Horror headlines Not necessarily every week. I believe some weeks we have holidays. Last week was July 4th, but we should be back this week. And then now on Fridays, Why We Love Horror Trivia. If you love horror trivia, you should be watching that. But again, this has been Versus. I'm JWMaher. That's Will Cohen. Thank you for stopping by. We appreciate your patronage.